Get off my property before I call the cops. Yeah, that's how my Saturday morning kicked off. Can you believe it? I'm standing on my own dock, sun barely over the trees, coffee steaming in my hand, and there's Vivian Strickland, HOA president, clipboard gripped like a sword, marching down with four strangers in tow, all of them looking at my boat like they just won it on a game show. It should have been a peaceful morning, you know? Instead, I'm playing bouncer on my own lake. Vivian points her finger at me. Deadly accurate, the way only a true HOA president can, and gives me that look like I just spray painted her garage or something. She's all fury, and I'm just standing there. A guy who knows exactly what his deed says and where every copy of it is stored. 15 years as a financial consultant will do that to you. I keep records the way a squirrel keeps acorns, filing cabinet, cloud storage glove box, just in case. See, when I bought this house, it wasn't about the granite countertops or the fancy zip code. It was about mornings like this, sun hitting the lake, nothing but quiet except the soft clink of the dock against the pilings. My Boston whaler is moored at the end white hull, gleaming on teak planks. Those planks cost a small fortune and take even more work to keep nice, but I like the ritual of it. I read every line of that deed before I signed. Lot M7 private marina recorded outside HOA control airtight. 3 homes in Lakeside Estates have that privilege. I double-checked it with a real estate attorney, spent 3 days and a couple $100 just to make sure nobody could ever say otherwise. That's the kind of guy I am, paranoid maybe, but it saved me more than once. The neighborhood itself, nice enough oak trees, 47 houses around a private lake, speed bumps that'd break your axle if you weren't careful. HOA keeps the place looking like a postcard. $450 a month for the pleasure. I've never really minded the rules, paint colors, fence heights, quiet hours after 10. They never reached my dock, so I kept my head down. My first real warning came from Dorotha Whitmore, the 71-year-old ex-president sharper than a tack, and with a memory for property statutes that would put a courthouse clerk to shame. At a neighborhood barbecue, she pulled me aside and said, "Your deed's solid, but keep it handy. Power doesn't like finding a line it can't cross." I thought she was being dramatic. Turns out she was just ahead of her time. Vivian Strickland's been president for 7 years, always in gray, always the clipboard, always running meetings like a train conductor with somewhere better to be. She's efficient, I'll give her that, runs the HOA by the book, or at least her book. When she wins a dispute, she savors it just a beat too long, like she's tasting the victory. The first time I saw her really work was when she fined a neighbor $500 for planting roses. Board discretion, she'd said like that phrase was holy scripture. So I stayed quiet. My dock, my business. Until one day she stops by while I'm washing my boat, gives me this look like she's adding me up in her head. Must be nice, she says, having all this space. I just nod and keep scrubbing. She lingers, then walks off, but you can feel the wheels turning. 3 weeks later at the HOA meeting, someone brings up the community picnic, asks about lake access. Vivian taps her pen, says, "We have waterfront assets that could benefit everyone." She doesn't say my name, but every eye turns my way. Dorotha leans up behind me and whispers, "Careful now. Message received." Next thing I know, I see Vivian's son Garrett, 23, truck from his mom, never worked a real job a day in his life, down by the lake with buddies throwing beer cans in the grass. One of them points at my dock. They all laugh. I make a note. Then comes the big show, Saturday morning. I'm heading out to fish, and I hear footsteps, Vivian in front, Garrett behind 3 banker-looking guys in polo shirts. Vivian's smile is pure customer service. "Could we borrow your boat? Just for an hour or two. These gentlemen are from First Regional Bank considering a grant for the HOA. One of them's already reaching for the rail." I cut him off calm but cold. "Stop. This is private property. You're not on the HOA's land and you don't have permission." Garrett pipes up. "My mom runs this place." I don't flinch. "Leave or I call the cops." The bankers bail first. Vivian's face is fire. She storms off. I sit down, pulse pounding, and text Dorotha. "It's starting." She says, "Keep everything documented." I check my cameras, 2 angles on the dock, motion-activated footage is crystal clear. I save copies everywhere. By the afternoon, I've convinced myself maybe it'll blow over. Sunday, I find an envelope in my mailbox, official letterhead, fine for failure to cooperate with community initiatives, $500. I read the rules, nothing about lending your boat. I email the board, attach my deed site, the rules get an auto reply, not expecting much. Monday, I wake up to 17 notifications from the neighborhood group online. Vivian's posted, "Some residents don't understand what community means." And 32 comments, mostly backing her up. If you don't like it, move. The few that ask, "Isn't that his property?" get called selfish. Dorotha tries to clarify, her comment gets deleted. Tuesday, another letter. This time $750 fine for not having an HOA sticker on my boat. There's no such thing. I call the board, leave voicemails, email my attorney, copy everyone. The only person who replies is Miles, the treasurer. I didn't vote for this, but Vivian pushed it through. Powerless but honest. I run into Vivian in the parking lot. She looks tired, like she's holding something heavy in her jaw. I tell her, withdraw the violation notices. There's no basis. She says, you're new. Maybe you don't understand how things work. We can't have people thinking they're above the rules. I tell her I'm not above them. The marina isn't covered. She says, you really want to fight this? Lawyers cost money, and you'll still have to live here. Not a threat, but a warning. I tell her I've already thought about it. She shrugs. Your choice. As she's leaving, she says, Garrett and his friends really like your dock. Message received. I check my cameras again, upgrade the security package, 24/7, recording motion alerts, facial recognition. If Garrett decides to pull anything, I'll have it on tape. Thursday, the emails start rolling in, 15 by noon, each quoting a rule that doesn't exist. My boat is now ruining the aesthetic line of the lake. My lights are pollution. Even the sound of water at night is a violation. I reply calmly, attach proof photos, decibel readings, deed copies. It's about endurance, not argument now. Fines escalate, $500, $750, $1,000. Claims get wilder. Dock inspection. Nobody scheduled mandatory sticker maintenance fees for work I did myself. It's a paper trail of harassment. I print everything, organize it in a binder with tabs and color-coded notes. I map out the battlefield, who's with Vivian, who's against, who's just quiet. By Friday, the online group's a public trial. Vivian never names me, but everyone knows. Some residents think rules don't apply to them. Comments get cruel, blaming me for fees for selfishness. Dorotha tries to reason, her posts vanish. Neighbors stop waving, stop talking. Isolation is the weapon now. Saturday, I find my mailbox spray-painted selfish. I photograph it, call the police officer, says. Probably kids. I install 2 more cameras, one on the mailbox, one facing the street. That night, Dorotha calls, asks how I'm holding up. She says, this doesn't stop unless you make it stop. She tells me Garrett's pulled this before mailbox smashed truck keyed the last guy moved out. No proof, but everyone knows, she says. I start an incident log, every email, every post, every police report, every cost. Monday, an emergency HOA meeting is announced, strongly encouraged. Vivian wants a public showdown. I RSVP yes and prep a presentation, deed, photos, emails, covenants, everything. I'm not going to win a vote. I just want a record. At the meeting, Vivian frames it perfectly, community cooperation, respect. And then a slideshow of my dock and 8 violations. She calls for support. A few hands go up, speeches about community spirit, and then she turns to me. I walk to the front, hold up my deed lot, M7, not HOA show. The rules, show the receipts, ask for proof of these violations. Crickets. I'm not refusing to participate, I say. I'm refusing illegal authority. Dorotha backs me up. Property law isn't hostile, it's fundamental. Suddenly my phone buzzes, camera alert. 4 people on my dock. Garrett's there trying to open the boat. I step out, call 911, show the footage and let everyone see the live feed. The police arrive, confront Garrett. He says my mom runs the HOA. The officer says she doesn't own the property. He does. They leave case number in hand. Now the room knows. The next day, more violation letters, total fines now $200. I add it all to my evidence binder spreadsheet, every date, every claim, every dollar. By Thursday, my fence is spray painted "Leave." The cameras catch 3 young men in hoodies, builds match Garrett's crew. Another police report. I repaint the fence alone. Neighbors watch, nobody offers help. I add the receipts to my file. Dorotha invites me over, shows me a pattern other homeowners who challenged Vivian, all targeted, all moved out. She doesn't get her hands dirty, but Garrett does, she says. I vow to fight. Another emergency meeting is announced. This time, Vivian wants a vote to make cooperation mandatory. I prep a counterattack. Every record, every fine, every instance of vandalism, every financial irregularity. Not just defense, but offense. I dig deeper into the HOA finances, find $12,000 paid to GS Consulting, a company Garrett set up 8 months ago. No contracts, no deliverables, money just gone, embezzlement clear as day. 3 weeks later, the special meeting, I show the evidence timeline of harassment, vandalism, footage, the financial trail. Garrett tries to shout me down, says the video's fake. Homeowners recognize their own properties in the footage. The treasurer stands up, says he was threatened for questioning Vivian. The third board member says she never saw those payments. Dorotha calls for a vote to remove Vivian. 36 hands go up. The police officer I asked to attend steps forward, says the DA is looking at the case. Vivian packs her things and leaves Garrett slinking behind. People clap, not for me, but for finally stopping the madness. Over the next weeks, the neighborhood heals. Garrett gets community service probation and has to move out. Vivian settles for $28,000, banned from the board for life. The rules change: transparency, dual signatures for expenses, no more retaliation by fake violations. My marina rights are now clearly written ink on paper, not just in someone's head. A new family moves in, kids, a dog, laughter on the dock. For the first time in months, it feels like a neighborhood again. Some folks apologize for being silent. I tell them fear is logical. Courage just needs proof. I take my boat out at Dawn Lake, glassy skywide, no alerts, no threats, just water sky and the quiet weight of knowing you stood your ground. You know, winning never feels like a parade. It feels like exhaustion, finally giving way to relief. I sit on the dock at night, moon bright on the water, thinking about how power warps people, how rules meant to keep order can turn into weapons when someone like Vivian takes charge. Maybe someday Garrett will figure out it wasn't rebellion that did him in, but the refusal to face what's true. Through my window, I see the lake, still peaceful. Proof sits in my binder, but I hope I never have to open it again. For now, the only thing moving is the wind across the water, and maybe, just maybe, that stillness will last. So let me ask you, was it worth it? Would you have stood your ground or walked away? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your own HOA stories. And if you believe in holding power accountable, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'll be out here, coffee in hand, just enjoying a little peace at last.